What's going on, fight fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the main event here on FranchiseSportsMedia.com. I'm riding solo today, but that's all right. We're still going to bring you an excellent show. Man, oh man, do we got some news to dive into. We are going to get into it more going forward, but today, so one of the big news is obviously the bad boy himself, Stockton's own Nate Diaz, trying to get out of his UFC contract. He has one fight left. He's been sending tweets to Dana White and the UFC, give me a fight or let me go. Dana White is saying, look, you haven't won a fight in the last 3 years. You won one fight in the last 3 years. You're a big name, sure, but what are we supposed to do with you? We're not going to give you Kamaru Usman. Trying to put you and Conor McGregor 3 together, that seems to be the biggest headache of all. There are some names out there to give you, but why don't you go fight Jake Paul? Yeah, that seems like a good fight for you. Jake Paul now has said, hey, you know what? I'll dive into it. Only under the conditions that you give your fighters health care and you pay them accordingly. Say what you will about Jake Paul and the Paul brothers and what they're doing. They have really struck a chord and put a shot of adrenaline back into the world of boxing and combat sports. And it does seem like they are trying to do better by the fighters. More pay, which is always good. Healthcare, which these fighters need considering what they put their bodies through. And they're trying to bring eyes and attention to a sport that, as much as we love it, really does have some dark holes in it that says, hey, you know what? If you kind of look behind the scenes, outside of the top names, there is a lot going on here that these fighters need an improvement on. So Nate Diaz, Jake Paul, that could be interesting. Nick Diaz, the older brother of Nate, Logan Paul, the older brother of Jake, Paul versus Diaz, brother versus brother, marketing right there. It could be something to watch in itself. Another news going on in the UFC is the UFC's lightweight title, the 155 strap, was vacated by Charles Oliveira when he couldn't make weight when he defended against Justin Gaethje. So now it's vacant. Well, now there is rumors going out that they are trying to set for later this year Islam Makhachev, number 3 ranked lightweight in the world, taking on Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title. That would be an extraordinary match. One, you got Makhachev, a clone disciple of Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's in that conversation, right? He basically looks like his little brother with his style, the wrestling, the mauling on the ground attack, the come forward attitude, to put the pressure on you. Now you're taking on Charles Oliveira, who has shown, hey man, if we're standing up and striking, I got you. You want to go to the ground? I got the most submissions in UFC history. Let's go. This will be one of those matchups, whereas Oliveira could come out victorious. You cannot deny his place among the greatest, not just at lightweight, but of all time as well. Maybe, just maybe, if he wins, maybe there's a certain coach, former fighter that's 29-0, that just had his disciple lose, that might says, send me location. One more fight. Let's go for 30-0. Does Nurmagomedov come back and try to avenge his student's loss? Does he try to come back and go for 30-0? You know, he retired when his father passed away due to COVID-19. Rest in peace. And he told his mother that he wasn't going to keep fighting. So at 29-0, height of his career, dominant all the way around, he walks away. Still young enough to come out and say, you know what, maybe if it's one fight, possibly I'll come back and do it. Not Conor McGregor again, because that's just too much for me to have to deal with all the drama and all the extra. No. But if it's against someone like Charles Oliveira, who is respectable, who is a challenge, who is an all-around fighter, who is somebody who is now challenging my stance as the greatest lightweight champion of all time, that could be something in itself. So Oliveira versus Makhachev later in the year, that will be a phenomenal showcase to go forward with and really set the tone for who is the king at 155. This past weekend, we had a UFC fight night go down in Austin, Texas. Yeehaw! We had, I got to just pull it up just for clarity. We had Josh Emmett, the ageless wonder, defeat Calvin Kattar by split decision. These two guys know how to go out and really put on a show. They're bangers. They come to fight every single time. You know when these two are on the card, regardless of if they're in the main event, co-main event, or the opening of the main card, they are going to bring it and be an excellent and phenomenal showing. This was a good battle between there. What does Josh Emmett go at the featherweight division? We shall see. Does he move up in competition? He should. But at this point, you got to say, outside of Calvin Kattar, you're really going to start taking on the elite of the elite. Does he maybe take on a Brian Ortega, who's looking to bounce back as well? For Calvin Kattar, where does he go? Does he get possibly a Korean Zombie later down the road? These two are still in the mix at featherweight. It'll be interesting to see what routes they go for their next matchups. You also had hometown favorite Kevin Holland defeat Tim Means via submission. Kevin Holland, the big mouth, won by submission. This is a fighter who has fought 170, 185. He's one of those guys like Donald Cerrone. I'll fight anybody, anywhere. Just send me location, send me the division. It does not matter. He fights on 2 weeks notice, 1 week notice, 2 months. It doesn't matter. He wants to stay active. He's got the big personality, but as we've seen in some of his losses, the grappling department was his weakest point, So now he's adding in some wrestling. He's adding in some submissions. With his striking, his overall personality and persona, this is starting to make him right here. So Kevin Holland moving forward is going to be something to watch. I really do like him at welterweight. Middleweight, he is good, but there are going to be some guys he takes on who, from a physicality standpoint, are just too much for him. Whether, just going to be too big, too strong. But at 170, ooh, now the tables will turn. Hey, Kevin Holland versus Nate Diaz? Maybe. If he doesn't go out and fight Jake Paul, why not? That'll be an interesting matchup in itself right there to go forward. So it is definitely something to watch with Holland and where his career goes from here. Does he stay more at 170 or does he try to keep bouncing between 170 and 185? We'll see going forward. Shifting gears just slightly. Staying in the world of combat sports. Guys, the world of boxing right now, it is on fire. It is going off. It is lit, as the kids would say. It's tremendous right now, especially at lightweight. You have a group of fighters in their prime that we have not seen since maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, when De La Hoya, Sugar Shane Mosley, Felix Trinidad were around. We got Gervonta Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Kambosa, who just lost to Haney, but it's still one of the top fighters out there, Tefino Lopez. And then you got, in case you guys forgot, Lomachenko. You got Lomo still out there. He went to go fight in the Ukraine war. They're saying, hey, listen, guys, we love and appreciate and respect what you guys have done for our country. It's time for you guys to go back to your professions. Let us soldiers take care of it. You guys go back. So now the Ukraine boxers like Lomachenko and Usyk, they've coming back to start training. You throw him in there. Right now, obviously, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia seems like a matchup we could see later this year. Tank is calling out Garcia. Garcia's like, look, I got to fight next month in July. If I take care of that, come later this year, let's go at it. Then you got Devin Haney saying, hey, I'm the champion here. Who's next? Who's going to step up? Is Davis somebody that's going to step up? If things with Garcia doesn't work out, do we get Haney and Garcia go at the two young guns? It is going to be a phenomenal showcasing of what these guys can do matched up against each other. We always talk about the heyday of boxing in the 80s when you had Duran, Hearns, Hagler, Leonard, and they all fought each other. Now we have something special going on here with Davis, Garcia, Lomo, Lopez, Kambosa, Haney. We got something special right now, and I just hope that the boxing gods are good to us. Mostly the boxing promoters, but we'll see how that goes. That they allow these fighters to go at it and they allow them to fight each other in their primes. Speaking of which, we have one match that honestly I'm very torn on, and that is Terence Crawford taking on Errol Spence. Now this is moving up in weight to 154. These guys, 147, 154, these are two of the best. Two of the absolute best boxers in the world, not just in their divisions, in the world. And all roads have said it's time for us to fight. Unfortunately, because of boxing, your promoters sometimes can be what's holding you up from going forward and having these spectacular matchups. Ever since his car accident, Errol Spence has definitely changed his tune on wanting to fight Crawford. It doesn't seem like he doesn't want to fight, but he also doesn't seem eager or bothered by if he doesn't get it. Beforehand, there were plenty of videos of them meeting each other backstage at different events, saying, hey man, let's bet this much money on it. Let's bet 100,000. Let's bet $1 million on it. This and that, I'll beat you. No, I'll beat you. It's that competitive spirit. Not so much of a, I hate you, I can't stand you, but hey, they say you're the best. I think I'm the best. Let's duke it out. Let's find out who actually is the best. Crawford is like, look, I want to make a legacy for myself. I want to go down as one of the all-time greats, and he's doing that right now. In order to do so, I got to fight you, Spence. Spence, ever since his car accident, which obviously he survived, thankfully for that, it's kind of been like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, okay, I'm still good. And I just think the life perspective of having your life on the line, going through something that traumatic, has really put things in perspective where he doesn't feel I need to validate myself, my name, or my career by taking on one particular fighter. Whereas maybe before, yes, I have to do this. This is my life. This is what I'm made for. I have to go out there and fight these guys. Now it's like, listen, I got my health, I have my family, I've made some money. We're going to do well in life after I hang up my gloves. I'm good, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. But as fight fans, and for the love of the sport, we're also kind of being robbed if this doesn't happen. So hopefully, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford can figure things out, work out the numbers, and get out there into the ring. It would be lovely if they did it here at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world. Where else would you do it at? But there are several options out there, but this is a matchup that needs to happen for the sake of boxing history, for the sake of two great fighters in their prime right now. And again, they virtually have beaten everyone that's needed to beat to get to this point. It's not like there's a Keith Thurman out there who has already been defeated. There's not like there's a Danny Garcia out there who's already been defeated. There's not like there's a Manny Pacquiao out there who's kind of retired, but not retired. Maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't. There's Floyd Mayweather out there who's only doing retirement exhibition matches. So there's nobody left for you guys to go through. You know, at least in the lightweight division with Davis, Lomo, Kambosa, Lopez, Garcia, Haney, at least you have a cluster of fighters where you can say, okay, well, I got to fight this guy, then I got to fight this guy, then I got to go this guy. Whereas when you look here, it's like, nope, we've eliminated everybody else. Either they're retired or we beat them. It's me and you, buddy. Let's go after it. So hopefully we get Crawford and Spence. We're looking at Davis versus Garcia. Haney still out there. Lomo's coming back. The world of boxing. Oh, and did I forget? If you look at the heavyweight division, Usyk is coming back from the war. Does he rematch Anthony Joshua right away? There's this other guy called Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. I heard he was pretty good. He's still out there floating around, and even though he's lost to Fury twice, there is a guy by the name of Deontay Wilder who hits like a tank. He's out there. You also got Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. That's going to be a phenomenal matchup. Where does the winner of that one go? So right now, the world of boxing has had this shot of adrenaline over the last couple of years that has really seen some of the big names go after it, and then some names trying to work their way towards it. So it's very exciting, very fun to be paying attention to, and to go out there and to see the possibilities. And then when it does happen, we all see, whether it's Canelo Alvarez or whoever may step into the ring, the way the fans are reacting, the way the city is electric. It is phenomenal to see boxing back. You got the UFC, you got boxing, you got all the other sports as well. When combat sports is at an all-time high and the fighters are thriving and fighting each other, the sport is unlike anything else. You can't get it anywhere else. You can't get it anywhere else from any other sport. So be sure to tune in for more, as right here on the main event on FranchiseSportsMedia.com. Be sure to check out our website for more on not only combat sports, but all sports in general. Till next time, fight fans, I've been your host, Kalani. You guys stay easy. Peace.